Good morning, my friends, and welcome back to Headlines. You know that abortion is a hot and polarizing issue in the US, and there are people who support abortion rights as well as people who oppose it. And both sides have increasingly relied on scientific claims as objective and neutral to make the case about a woman's right to abortion. 那么现在呢，反对和支持的两方呢，越来越多的去依赖科学的论断，从客观中立的角度去说明他们对于女性堕胎权的立场。And today's article is going to explore the role that science is playing in this hot issue. It's interesting and thought-provoking. And the title is pretty candid. Scientism, the overextension of scientific authority, how facts have been weaponized in abortion debate. 那么科学事实是如何在堕胎权的问题上被武器化的？ Ism 一般是翻译成什么什么主义 such as perfectionism 完美主义 optimism 乐观主义 capitalism 资本主义。那 scientism 字面翻译就是科学主义。If something becomes something-ism, it is not a random or individual experience anymore. It becomes a theory or a proposition about how you look at the world. So scientism is highly valuing the natural science in comparison with other branches of learning and culture. To some degree, science is the only reliable source of knowledge. 科学主义主张以自然科学为基础，确信自然科学能够解决一切问题的一种哲学观点。Professor of Political Science argues that the science is used to the best advantage when it informs and educates us, rather than being used to determine public policy. Policies that rely on science are subject to all kinds of social scientific distortions. What is essentially scientific description is presented as justifications for the way people ought to think and behave. 文中的观点是，科学用来告知人、教育人是最有利的，而不是用来决定公共政策制定的。As you know, subject could act as a noun, an adjective, and a verb. Notice the stress shifts between the first and second syllable in terms of the part speech. Subject and the subject, right? Be subject to is to be affected by something. 受到什么的影响 Prices may be subject to supply chain. So if someone is subject to the law or the rule, he has to obey it. Apple Watch is not subject to import ban. 不受进口限令的限制。If you subject someone to interrogation or something unpleasant, you make them endure it. 那么让某人承受或经历什么什么，用的也是 subject to, 只不过是当动词来用。They are subjected to inhumane treatment. So you got to know the difference between be subject to and be subjected to, right? What is essentially scientific description is presented as a justification for the way people ought to think and behave. There are several verbs here that might confuse you to identify the trunk of the sentence. And the SVO of the sentence is, what is scientific description is presented as something. 它是以人们应该如何思考和行为的正当性的方式呈现出来的 justification. 什么的正当性 Well, in other words, scientific description is used to discipline people's thoughts and behaviors, which apparently the author opposed. 把科学的描述作为规范人们行为和想法的这样的一种观念，在作者看来是不可取的。Both pro-life and pro-choice movements have come to see scientific evidence as the ultimate tool in the battle over abortion rights in each state. New scientific information about the status of the fetus, including what life is, heart develop, fetal pain, and viability, are used by both social movements to bolster their position on the right to abortion. Bolster 学过了 bolster confidence, morale, economy, 加强。那么堕胎的支持者和反对者把新的科学发现，像胎儿的状态、什么是生命以及胎儿疼痛等问题，作为终极武器，来加强他们的主张。Invoking science and data to resolve ethical and ideological controversies obscures the values of each group. Both sides use biology to argue for their religious and secular perspectives on abortion and other reproductive concerns like pregnancies and contraception. In doing so, they're succumbing to the temptation to outsource their values and ideological views on difficult decisions to theoretical neutral authorities, scientists. If you invoke a law or principle, you turn to it for help, to support you. 援引什么东西来支持你 UN Secretary General invokes Article 99 on Gaza. Another usage of invoke is to evoke, 引出唤起。 Color psychological for web design to invoke emotions. 唤起情感，援引科学数据解决伦理及意识形态的争论，会模糊这两者的价值。Religious or secular perspectives, 宗教或者是世俗的角度 secular society, 世俗社会指的是非宗教社会。Succumb to temptation or pressure is a collocation, meaning submit to temptation. 屈服于诱惑或者是压力。Please pay attention to the pronunciation of succumb. Be as silent as in words like climb and lamb. 这样做他们其实是屈服了诱惑，将自己的价值观和意识形态的观点外包给了理论上中立的权威，也就是科学家。Not only do they invoke science and data, they also turn to psychological research for help, like whether abortion will take a toll in women's mental health. For time concern, ladies and gentlemen, I wish I could read more in this video. I'll leave the full-length article in my WeChat account. You know, in the past, people debated whether science or religion was antithetical. And now we're surprised to find that science might become the evidence to prove some religious beliefs. And for the abortion issue, other than science and psychological research, what else people could fall back on to justify their movements? So any thought on that? Please share it with us. This is Zoe, and I'll see you next time.